Is being a girl boss the flex you think it is?
I'm just literally on the verge of like a mental breakdown.
Subscribe.
So I am a young millennial, and for my generation, we were really sold this boss babe life. Put your career first, don't get married, don't have a kids, don't even think about that until your mid to late 30s, don't worry about it, your career is what is going to fulfill you. And we really bought into that lie. And so many millennials, and some older than me, they did do that, and then everyone realized, oh wait, now I have the big promotion, I am making a lot of money, women are out earning men. I mean,
and that's on period.
This wage gap thing is such BS, but they have all of that, but they still feel like they're missing something. And the truth is that we were made for more. We were made to pour into a family and a husband and have children, and that is what is going to fulfill you at the end of the day. Like your career, you know, at the very end of your life, how much money you made and everything isn't going to matter, but who's going to be at your bedside on your deathbed.
It's crazy because I was also like that when I was younger. Like this girl boss kind of girl, strong independent woman, going to make my own money. Check out my strong independent woman video. But then at the end, as I grew older, I realized like, this is actually a scam. This is what somebody said. Women traded 80 hours a week of nurturing and shaping the minds of the next generation for 80 hours a week in a cubicle for a boss who could care less. Yeah. Because both the woman and the men are always working these big full-time hours. It's not saying women should not work, but then our household and our family and shaping the next generation is more important. Because like our generation, for instance, most of the men and the women were working. That's why a lot of children, these Gen Zers and Gen Alphas, is even getting worse. A lot of them, you can tell that there is no household upbringing. So they are basically being raised by these movies, their teachers. And imagine, there's no nurturing in the house no more because everybody is working. Especially with the economy right now. If women don't work and men don't also work, basically you can't make ends meet. So you have to. And it's so sad because how is it shaping the next generation? How is it shaping our children?
And so I think a lot of millennials started to have that wake-up call, and now Gen Z is starting to have that wake-up call. And so young conservatives really are embracing this, it's called trad wife lifestyle. So traditional wife, you know, being a stay-at-home mom and putting a focus on that. And so I think that's amazing. And you know, that's something I think about too. I have a really serious relationship right now. We're not engaged yet, but it's something that we're talking about. And you know, he knows that that's super important. Obviously, I feel like I'm in a place that God wants me to be with hosting this show, but I also really want to be a mother. And at the end of the day, if I had to choose to lose all of this, and that was the only way to be a mother, I would choose that.
You see, where God wants her to be, she believes this is where God wants her to be. But like people, right, especially women, we shouldn't just put our hope and our trust and everything in our job. And, oh, I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to do this job, when it's not even God's calling for you. Like me, I have my degree in medical physiology and everything, but I'm putting it aside for now because I feel like God wants me to focus on this for now. So that's why I've not been able to get prospects in that. But I'm also looking to it, but also focusing on this because I believe me speaking to you, my royal babes, it's my calling right now. So what is your calling? You know, let God direct your path, your steps. Because when you are working in your purpose, you don't even feel like it's a job. Even when you're not getting any monetary basis or anything from it, because God is the one looking after you. God is the one providing for you. Like me, for instance, I'm not getting anything from YouTube right now, but I still come and I speak to you because even if I'm able to even talk to that one person, right? And that one person is able to get this message and able to actually seek God and find God and get healed, I've done my job. I've done more than enough. So ask God for your purpose and your calling, because God says, I know the plans I have for you. Plans for good and not for evil, to give you a hope and a future. Let God's plans for your life come into fruition instead of hustling and hustling and hustling. And we'll get more into hustling later. And this is what somebody said. I had my first baby at 27 and immediately felt a natural urge to put him before my career, above my career, even working from home with him the majority of his life. I am due with my second just before I turn 30. And I've spent the last 2 years setting up our finances so I can stay at home. I work in a high achieving industry and I know zero moms who are happy they are at work instead of being with their kids here. And it's not to say don't work, no. But let's see who a boss babe is so that we understand. A girl boss is usually portrayed as a woman who takes charge of her life, her career, her business, and she demonstrates confidence and resilience and independence in that kind of term.
Gotta put me first. I gotta put me first, Lucian.
Yes, of course, we have to gain financial control of ourselves. We cannot just be so dependent on our husband. Of course, we want our husbands to be providers and things like that. But no, you also have to bring your own, not to flourish the house, but then when you're a woman who has your own right, nobody would disrespect you. Even if your man is the best man, sometimes, right, it gets like, oh, if I'm not there, this woman cannot do anything, whatever. And even if your husband, something were to happen, what is going to happen then? Get it? So you also have to have your own means of income, not that, oh, you need like even underwear, you have to go and ask your husband. Like, no. So we have to also be financially independent, maybe not in the same level as a husband, but that you can also stand in case anything were to happen. But that does not mean that invest yourself and everything, building this wealth, and then putting relationships on the back burner because you think it's not as important, when it's actually the most important thing. When we trust God, right, that God's plans for our life will come into fruition, and then we actually want to walk in God's path, we will not be so focused on, oh, I have to do this in order to gain this, like how I was before, that I was so focused on my degree and working after, and when things did not work in my favor, like when I finished school, I didn't get a job right away with my degree. It made me feel so like useless and things like that because my whole worth was in my job and what I'm going to do later. But as feminine women, our worth is not in our job or in our career or in our money. And we'll speak about it later. The overemphasis on the hustle culture. So this girl boss label, it puts pressure on women to excel at everything that they do. From running a business to having a perfect personal life. Like, women can do everything. Women are superwomen. But no, we are not. We are not superwomen. It leads to burnout, that you're looking for success so much that you get emotional, mental, and physical strain on your mind that you cannot go anymore. I remember in the beginning of my YouTube, right? If you see, you see that I was doing 4 videos a week. And it was insane. I couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'll go months without posting because I put so much strain on myself that I couldn't go anymore physically.
I feel lied to by the culture. But I'm going to take full responsibility there, man. I fell for it. I fell for the boss bitch, the like, I could do everything by myself, the hyper independent bullshit. And I'm 31 now, and I still don't have kids. I still don't have a family. I was focused on trying to get after the bag and all this. Yo, what? I'm in a place now in my life where I'm reevaluating everything. My values, my perspectives, what I really want in the future. And what I really want is a family. I feel like social media or just everything around us, society in general, wants to push that the woman is the future. No, the family is the future.
Life could be worse. No, not really. This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst. Yeah.
That's so good, seriously. And the Proverbs 31 woman, for instance, look, it says she sets about work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. Yeah, she's a very hardworking woman, the Proverbs 31 woman, right? And we want to be Proverbs 31 woman. But if you continue reading and you see, yes, she's a whole businesswoman, right? She makes sure her house is well kept. Her husband calls her blessed, and her husband is respected in their community. You can tell her husband is mentioned so much and things like that because she puts her family above everything else. But she also still has servants and not a 9-to-5. She's able to set her own hours to do her tasks, and she has people working for her. So she doesn't do everything on her own because we are not superwomen. We shouldn't, and we can't do everything on our own. That's not something we should do. Colossians 3 verse 23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for human masters. Yes, this is true. But then success should be redefined by working with purpose in God rather than with societal expectations that you can do it all, because we can't. We should celebrate love and family life rather than being, oh, I am this single woman, I don't need no man, when you actually do want. And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with wanting a family. We should promote balance. That in your single season, yes, you're in your single season and you're going to work hard at what God wants you to do. Like me, for instance, I'm in my single season, and I know God wants me to be single right now in order to work on my brand and working with you guys, my royal babes, and making sure that everything is put in place, right? And I can do that best in my singlehood. But then when it's time for you to also have a family and love and things like that, accept it and actually work in that purpose. And don't be going. Like I said, that hustle culture is a scam. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest." Let God give you rest. Rest in God. Even God, that can do everything, He took one day to rest after creating the world. How much more you? Proverbs 6:9 says, "In the heart, humans plan their course, but the Lord established their steps." Let the Lord establish your steps, because God wants good for you and not evil. So, how to blend both femininity and being, well, a girl boss or being a businesswoman. So, lead with empathy in your business and in everything that you do. Use feminine traits like compassion and understanding to foster collaboration and trust. Even if you're not working a 9 to 5, you can have a little side business. Especially with digital media right now, it's booming that anybody can have a business online. Whether it's selling items on Etsy, whether it's being a YouTuber, a lot of things. And if you guys want to know about side business options that women can have, please put it down in the comments below and I'll do it for you. Embrace rest and renewal. Me, Sundays is my days for rest. I don't do no YouTube videos. I don't do no research, no planning, no editing, nothing. I just take my time and spend time with God and self-care, making sure I look good for the next day. So I renew my mind and my body. Avoid burnout, guys. It's really not worth it. Look at Matthew and Mary like this in the Bible. Martha was doing so much. She was trying to take care of the guests, cooking, washing, things like that. But Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus listening to him. And Mary got mad. Martha got mad. She was like, "Jesus, why is my sister not doing anything? I'm doing everything." And then Jesus was like, "Martha, you worry too much." But then what Mary is doing is the right thing, and it will not be taken away from her. God values you sitting at his feet listening to him way more than you doing so much for him, whether it's even ministry. Because me, I thought I'm doing so much for God. But then God wants you to sit at his feet, have time with him, because that's how your relationship would flourish, instead of just keeping going and burning yourself out. Femininity and ambition are not opposites, but they are complementary aspects of a whole woman. Me, I'm a very ambitious woman, but I'm also a very feminine woman. So let that be you. Don't think you have to be one or the other, but celebrate a balance and know when you deserve rest. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.
But God wants someone to know that He is about to turn that negative situation into the biggest blessing in your life.